What was supposed to be the next big thing, but totally flopped? Google Glass. I heard one of the biggest issues was that it was too heavy and felt uncomfortable, but they literally couldn't make it any lighter. Airship travel. These were the next awesome way to travel long distances. In fact, the spire on top of the Empire State Building was meant as an anchoring point for airships. The Hindenburg kind of put a damper on it, though. The Segway. It was supposed to change the way everyone lived. The invention of the century or something like that. A really big deal. Segways were supposed to revolutionize travel and replace the automobile. Now they're just used for guided tours for dorks and tourist traps. Not entirely relevant, but I liked the trend where everybody wanted the smallest cell phone possible. For 20 years cell phones got smaller and smaller, often being the main selling point of the phone. Then all of a sudden you could watch videos on your phone, and almost overnight the trend reversed to, larger is better. That fake fat they put in chips in the 90s that made everyone poop their pants. Edit. Thanks for the silver, obligatory. Of course my top comment is anal leakage. The Dark Universe Cinematic Universe, starting with 2017's The Mummy. https://www.imdb.com/title/tt2345759/. I cannot think about that movie without remembering when they accidentally released an incomplete trailer. Best movie trailer ever. For those curious, https://youtube.be/zomgrwqb6w edit. LMAO this blew up. Thanks for all the rewards. Xbox Connect. The Panama Papers. MoviePass. 3D TV. Hoverboards? I remember in a span of 3 months everyone had them and showed them off and then they just disappeared. Edit. After further investigation I discovered they were banned in my province a number of years ago. At the time video calling with your phone completely flopped because 3G couldn't support it. There was so much advertising about this thing that was meant to be huge but the tech really didn't work yet. But it did blow up later on with 4G, better phones, Wi-Fi and more public spaces. 2020. 2020 was going to be an ultimate year for partying, for Americans at least. *4/20ths technically the whole month. *Cinco de Mayo on Taco Tuesday. *Independence Day on a Saturday. *Halloween on a Saturday and a full moon and the end of daylight saving time which meant 1 extra hour of Halloween partying. *Christmas on a Friday. And finally, New Year's Eve was on a Thursday which meant the next year would begin with a 3-day weekend. This great combination happens when a leap year begins on a Wednesday. The previous time it happened was 1992 and it's not going to happen again until 2048. This one might be a bit obscure just because I've only ever met one other person familiar with it, but Google's Project Era modular smartphone was looking like it could have been the end-all be-all of smartphones. Based off the phone block's idea of having a Lego-like hot swappable module phone, the idea was that you could switch out any components of the phone on the fly. Camera, fingerprint scanner, even different quality screens. Conceptually, it really looked like it could take over the phone market, as it would lead to people not having to buy whole new phones anymore, but rather replacement or upgraded parts to a phone they already liked, thereby reducing costs and increasing utility. You don't want a phone with 5 cameras that inflate the cost unnecessarily? Just buy a 1-camera module. You want a 1440p Super AMOLED screen to replace your 720p regular screen? Buy one and swap it in. However, like many Google projects, it died off for myriad reasons and the long-standing era of $1,000 smartphone slabs lived on. Clearly remember thinking, these companies have lost their fucking minds. There's practically nothing 3D to watch. TV shows weren't available in 3D and weren't about to be filmed in 3D. Catalogs of old favorites would never be 3D. It's like the entire 3D industry was made for Avatar which, while a little bit neat, I never intended to watch a second time. Reminded me of all the bullshit hype surrounding DVDs at first. Like I could watch a scene from Terminator 2 from any angle I wanted. Like I'd be able to watch any movie scene from any angle I wanted. Never ever saw that feature utilized. *edit. Thank you for the helpful feedback on multi-angle viewing. Clearly, I did not watch enough porn DVDs. Heard a stat from one of the 3D TV manufacturers that the average number of pairs of 3D glasses sold per 3D television was a number very much smaller than one. I think they were too embarrassed to actually tell everyone how tiny the attach rate was. Google Plus was supposed to be the answer to Facebook. That was a lesson on how not to handle hype. There was so much hype around Google Plus, it was infectious. But they refused to open it up to everyone and maintained a very hard line, invite-only, system. Even once hype had peaked and there was a notable decline, still they maintained a small invite-only system. I remember by the time they decided to open it up to everyone the hype was well and truly dead and no one bothered with it. They should have cashed in when hype was high, but they, I assume, got greedy, thinking the hype would just infinitely increase and people wouldn't get bored waiting to get in. From what I've gathered in this thread, Google threw a lot of shit to see if it would stick. LMAO. Google Wave. It was supposed to replace email with a more collaborative approach. Essentially it was like a dynamically created discussion board you'd share with select people, and you could have a more readable discussion than one with a bunch of forwards and CCs and the like. I thought it was a good idea, but it flopped big time and Google got rid of it after a few years. This was by far the best collaborative platform for planning trips I have experienced. I took a lot of backpacking trips. And we could all combine research, having a collected map, take stock of inventory etc. in one place. Now I see people putting that stuff into a Google Doc and it kind of sucks by comparison. RIP Google Wave.